Khan, Shalom, Shalom, Yahweh Hashem, Shabbat Shabbat Shalom to the 12. This brother Brazil just coming at you with a quick edification, quick exhortation for Israel to stay in the spirit, to rule your spirit, right? That's what you got the brotherhood for. That's what you got these scriptures for, is to endure all things for the hopeful elect. You got to meditate on these scriptures because they'll bring you back to life. You might fall, but you got to get back up. Rule over your spirit, Israel. Let's start with Luke chapter 22 and verse 31, right? Because these scriptures, they bring you to life, man. You might be lost. You might feel overwhelmed. You might feel overtaken, but you got to fight, right? This is Luke chapter 22. I'll start at verse 28. Ye are they which have continued with me in my temptations, right? Because we continue with the Lord in his temptations, right? Because that's his states in Sirach chapter 2 and verse 1. It says, my son, if thou come to serve the Lord, prepare thyself for temptations. So this is all you're doing when you're coming to serve the Lord, you're preparing yourself for temptation. Why? Because this is the condition of the battle. You kind of weigh the things in the balance. This is Sirach, Salak's second address, chapter 7 and verse 57. Then answered he me and said, this is the condition of the battle that which man that is born upon the earth shall fight. So the condition of the battle, the conditions of the contract, when you come in to serve the Lord, you're preparing yourself for temptation, right? You're going to fight every day. You got to endure to the end. That's the condition of the battle, right? So as it states in Luke, reading on, ye are they, Luke 22 and verse 28. Ye are they which have continued with me in my temptations, and I appoint unto you a kingdom, as my Father has appointed unto me, that ye may eat and drink at my table in my kingdom, and sit on thrones judging the 12 tribes of Israel, most high willing, right? And the Lord said, this is the point, Simon, Simon, behold, Satan hath desired to have you, that he may sift you as wheat. So Satan desires to have you, right? That he may sift you as wheat. And that's the admonition to what? Stay in the spirit. Be vigilant, right? This is 1 Peter. This is 1 Peter chapter 5 and verse 8. Be sober, be vigilant, because your adversary, the devil, as a roaring lion, walketh about, seeking whom he may devour, right? So your adversary is the devil. It's Satan, right? It's the op, right? He's seeking whom he may devour as a roaring lion. And if you know anything about lions or hunting or anything like that, Mother Nature, the lion goes for the weakest, right? He doesn't go for the jackal, the one that's springing all the way up in the air, got the nice stance mid-air, you know. He's not going for that guy. He's going for the one that's kind of weak. He's kind of laying down, he's folding it up. You know how they fold their arms up, you know, and he's kind of taking a nap, right? He got his eyes halfway closed. He's not being vigilant, right? He's not being aware of his surroundings, right? You got to be on your P's and Q's as a soldier, right, for the Lord. That's the condition of the battle. You have to be on your P's and Q's. You got to watch. You got to be like this. Your eyes got to be open, eyes wide shut, right? There's no days off. This is not your rest. This is not the time to lollygag, right? Because as soon as you let up, your adversary, the devil, is seeking who he may devour. He's going to attack. And if you're not being prepared spiritually to embrace that attack, right, through scriptures, through prayer, through fasting, right, through charity, through long suffering, through the fruits of the Spirit, if you don't have these things built up in you, you're going to fall. If you don't have a brother you can call to get you in the Spirit when you out the Spirit, you're going to fall. If you're an individual light, you're going to fall. If you're leaning into your own belly, you're going to fall. If you don't lean into these scriptures, you're going to fall, right? So be locked in with the Lord, right? This is Proverbs 25 and verse 28. And this is going to be a quick edification, right? Right outside of camp. Trying to get these things in before we go, fishing. This is Proverbs chapter 25 and verse 28. He that hath no rule over his own spirit It's like a city that is broken down and without walls. And if you know anything about like ancient, war, or ancient, how they dealt back in the days, in the ancient times, they had a city built up around, a wall built up around the city, Salakia, right? For what? For the protection of the inside, for the goods, the things that are inside, right? The inhabitants. They had them protected and shielded off with a wall, aka a hedge, right? Where there is no hedge, Salaki, I can't remember that precept. It's in Sirach. Where there is no hedge, right? I might have to come back to that or get that at a later date. I think it's 26. Uh, it's after they got her. 25. Mm, right. Salakia. Salakia. Right. I really wanted that precept. I'm a low key beat myself up. Uh, I know it's in 26. I just can't find it right now. Right. Well, the Lord said where there's no hedge, there like Salakia. I'm paraphrasing it. It says where there's no hedge, there's no protection. Right. You're opening yourself up to be overtaken. Right. You don't have a way to defend yourself. Right. So going back to Proverbs 25 and 28, he that has no rule over his own spirit is like a city that is broken down and without walls. So you have to rule over your spirit. Why? Because that's your hedge. That's your protection, right? That's your sanity, right? So 2 Corinthians, this is the time that we're in, right? Because all hell is breaking loose around the Passover. We all know this. If you don't know this, if this is your first Passover, every time, and this is my second Passover, uh, third Passover actually. And since the first one, because I first came into the truth, so I'm 2 years in the truth, but like literally when I came into the truth, it was my first Passover. It was like I came into the truth right around Passover. Some people were falling out. I was the one that kind of came in. And everybody was saying, man, I just noticed this brother fell out. These brothers fell out. You came in, da-da-da-da. All hell was breaking loose. It was like a shift, right? It was sifting season, right? That's what we call it. And so that next Passover I experienced, brothers falling out and brothers coming back in or coming in, right? And then this third time, hey, this is like I said, my second year, my third Passover though. And I'm looking at it and, hey, all hell is breaking loose. So you have to examine yourself to see if you're in the right spirit or if you got some work to do. And we all got work to do. Nobody's perfect, but we strive for that mastery, right? This is 2 Corinthians chapter 13 and verse 5. Examine yourselves whether ye be in the faith. Prove your own selves. Know ye not your own selves how that Yahweh Shai Mashiach is in you, except ye be reprobates. Right? So you have to prove to your own self that you're doing the right things, right? You know yourself. That's what the scripture is saying. You know yourself, right? I might not know you. You might be able to trick me, right? You might be able to trick, hey, everybody around here. Everybody on whoever watched this video, you might be able to trick them. You're not tricking the Lord, and you're not tricking yourself, because you know yourself, right? So examine yourself to see if you're ruling over your spirit, or if your spirit, which is wicked in you, you have to beat that thing down and build up the spirit of the Lord, right? Through searching the precepts, right? You got to do that. And if you're not doing that, examine yourself and see what needs work and work on it. You can't just stay stagnant, right? A little folding of the, like, let's read that. Proverbs chapter 6, verse 10, right? It says, Salakia, verse 10, yet a little sleep, a little slumber, a little folding of the hands, so shall thy poverty come as one that traveleth, and thy want as an armed man, right? So a little sleep and a little folding of the hands is going to rock you to sleep. You're going to be, you're not going to maintain, right? Right? Because you're just, why? Because you're comfortable with with not being built up. You have to continuously work. Let's read that in verse 6. Proverbs chapter 6 and verse 6. Go to the ant, thou sluggard, and consider her ways, and be wise, which having no guide, overseer, or ruler, provideth her meat in the summer, and gathereth her food in the harvest. Right? Because the ant is always working. So you have to always work. You got to continuously work. Continuously build yourself up. Right? Through the scriptures, through the precepts, through the brotherhood, through charity, through love and long suffering, patience, meekness, humbleness. You got to build yourself up. You got to break yourself down to build yourself up. Don't just be content with. You want to be content, right? We want to read. We're going to read that actually. It's in. I think it's Ephesians, Philippians, right? So there's a state to be content in, right? But the state of contentment doesn't come with being content with being slothful. You don't want to be content with being slothful. You know if you're being slothful, so that's why you got to examine yourself. This is how all of this is having rule over your spirit, right? Philippians chapter 4 and verse, I'll start at 11. Not that I speak in respect of one, for I have learned in whatsoever state I am therewith to be content. Right? So, but it explains it further in verse 12. I know both how to be abased and how to abound, right? I know how to be low and how to go get it, right? I know how to sit still and I know how to go, right? There's a time and place for everything in Ecclesiasticus 3 and 1 on down, right? There's a time and place and a season for everything. And this is what Paul is saying, right? That he knows how to do both things, right? He knows how to sit still and how to go get it, right? Everywhere in all things I am instructed both to be full and to be hungry, both to abound and to suffer need. I can do all things through Hamashiach which strengthens me, right? So you got to have that discernment, that spiritual discernment to know how to move, right? And moreover, the main focus of this topic, the topic of this conversation and this live, is to rule over your spirit, right? You got to know how to rule over your spirit. If you're being tossed, shifted to and fro, mad one minute, happy the next, not knowing what's going on, you gotta check yourself. Am I in the spirit? Is this the spirit of Yahushai, Yahweh by Hashem Yahushai, or is it the spirit of confusion? Right? You got to know how to do these things, right? And it's all playing through the scriptures. You got to search the scriptures just to find out these things. And link up with brothers, man. I love the brotherhood, man. You know, some brothers might, I don't know, you know, they can't bang. Some brothers, you know, they do what they want to do, but I love the brotherhood, man. Sincere brothers. I have the discerning spirit for those brothers that are sincere. And all praise to the Most High. It's all the brothers that's around me. Most High willing, right? So let's get a couple more scriptures. 1 Corinthians 10 and 13, right? This is the book of 1 Corinthians chapter 10 and verse 13. There have no temptation taken you, but such is common to man. But Yahweh is faithful, who will not suffer you to be tempted above that ye are able, but will with temptation also make a way to escape, that ye may be able to bear it, right? So you are able to escape temptation, right? With everything that you're going through. The Lord's not going to put you in a situation that he just forgot about you. And you just out here butt naked on your own. No, the Lord, he know what you are built for. And he's going to give you that trial. He's going to give you that situation, that temptation, just for you to be able to call on him so his name can be glorified. So you can stop leaning unto yourself, so you can humble yourself, right? You have to be humbled. The Lord isn't dealing with a proud spirit. So if you think you know what you're doing, you don't. You got to call in the name of the Lord. You got to call on the men of the Lord. Well, not on the men of the Lord. You want to put your trust in, but you got to do everything that the men of the Lord did. They sought counsel with all that they did. They used wisdom, understanding with all of their moves that they made, right? They did everything according to the scriptures. So you got to move in thus manner and you will have good success, right? And let's get a couple of examples, and I'm gonna wind down. This is the book of Job, chapter 2, and verse 9. So Job went through hell. He got tried. He got tempted to curse the Lord, right? But what did he do? He maintained his integrity. But his wife actually tried him. This is Job chapter 2 and verse 9. Then said his wife, dost thou still retain thine integrity? Curse God and die. All right, that's his wife telling him. That's the advice from his wife. She was going off. Verse 10 says, but he said unto her, thou speakest as one of the foolish women speaketh. What shall we receive good at the hand of God? And shall we not receive evil? And all this did not Job sin with his lips. Right? So he corrected her. He literally said, hey, what, we're going to just get all the good stuff and none of the bad? It's a just balance. The Lord is a just God. He's going to do everything according to as his will is. And we don't know the ways of the Most High. Right? So we can't think that he's doing something and he's going off. We're not going to curse the Lord. And, hey, he kind of had to shake the hand at her. Right? Just to get her right. Right? And the book of Matthew chapter 4, you can read that account as well. Satan tempted Yahweh Shai. And what did he do? He combated everything that Satan came at him with scriptures, right? So that's the move that we got to make, and that's the only way we can make it out. If not, then you're gonna fall, subject under Satan. You're gonna crash, right? And then you're gonna burn, right? And you're gonna go back into the world. You're gonna start smoking weed again. You're gonna stress out. You're not gonna think on the precepts anymore, and you're gonna lie in your own belly, and you're gonna fall, right? The only way you can be held up is if you rely on these scriptures. Read these accounts. Look at the generations of old, right? This is Sirach chapter 2 and verse 10. Look at the generations of old and see, did ever any trust in the Lord and was confounded? Or did any abide in his fear and was forsaken? Or whom did he ever despise that called upon him? Right? The righteous men that called upon the Lord and the righteous women that called upon the Lord and the righteous kids that called upon the Lord. Hey, David, man. Hey, the Lord didn't despise him. Right? So rule over your spirit. Know what state that you're in. Know the condition of the battle. Know the terms of the contract. Right? It's all written here in the scriptures. You just got to read it. Get into it and understand it and move, thus saith the Lord. And you will have good success. Right? This last precept, right? This is 2 Timothy chapter 2 and verse 10. Right? Therefore, I endure all things for the elect's sake, that they may also obtain the salvation, which is Hamashiach Yahushai with eternal glory. Right? So endure all things, Israel. Right? Fight that good fight. We almost up out of here, man. And with that, I want to bid a strong shalom to the Akim and the Akwath, all the mighty men that go out there and labor. Hey, let's have a strong, mighty Shabbat this Shabbat. Shalom to the 12. Love y'all. Shalom.